Hi there, this is Ivan once again from Comrades Chess, and uh, this time we want to cover the common variation from E4, the E4 systems, as white plays E4 in the center. So we want to look at these. One of the most common systems you expect is the move D5. D5 is the Scandinavian defense, a standard defense which is very important to remember, and we can always feel free to take this pawn in the center. I want to cover the most common systems in such positions, which is the queen takes d5, and let's gain a tempo on the queen by chasing away that queen with the knight to c3. So in such a position, please note that we expect, which I'll be covering 4 moves. I'll be covering when the queen goes to f5, when the queen goes back to d8, when the queen goes to d6, and when the queen gives a check. When the queen gives a check in the center. Let me make this one blue, since it's not a very common move and not a very standard move, with that check in the center. But anyway, let's cover these 4 moves. Let's start with the standard move, when the queen goes to f5. Whenever the queen goes to f5, please stick to the rules. Just bring out your pieces, keep developing your pieces, as black is losing some time, and use that time to really work on your development. They also try now to bring out their pieces. Just stick to the rules, bring out your pieces. Your bishop belongs to c4. You always want to have this, enjoy this beautiful diagonal. I always tell my students, please stick to put the bishops. Always have good bishops. Bad bishops don't have good diagonals. Good bishops will always have good diagonals. So this bishop belongs in c4, usually in such systems. As they also try to fight back, kick away that bishop, they'll always try to stick around with the pin, enjoying their pin on our queen. But feel free to now open up your pieces. As they bring up their pieces, we can now push away that bishop as we push it backwards and prepare for these other developments. Yes, we continue with that same structure. We always put this bishop here to always try to be ready to jump into the center as we have our king safe. Yes, and there we go. So we now can exchange of the pieces, and of course we expect them to go with this, and feel free to enjoy such a structure. So another structure you can look at in such positions is the move, as we promised, is the move queen to f5 is done. So we can now look at the move queen to d8. What happens if they play queen to d8? Queen to d8 just also is a standard system, but just stick to the rules. Bring out our pieces, bishop on c4, push this time with queen on e8. Now we can feel free to have our pawn in the center on d4. Even in the other system, we can also have our pawn on d4, which is okay. But this time, there's nothing stopping us to have our pawn on d4. As they attack that pawn, this time we refuse. We suspect that they're really going to pin our knight. We can please always feel free to push a3, refusing that. It's a prophylactic move which refuses that bishop from coming to pin down our knight. Yes, as the castle, and the game continues with bring back our bishop. We are reorganizing our striking attack on the king side in a very cunning way. But these systems need some patience as you enjoy the center. Yes, another variation you can look at in these systems is the queen to d6. I used to play this variation, and I'm fascinated by the name. It's called the Gubinsky-Mills variation defense. But just enjoy the center. And I like this move. There are many other good moves in this variation, but I like this move, knight g to e2. Why? Preparing the bishop to f4, which is a very disturbing system to many Gubinsky-Mills variation. I also used to have a challenge when I used to play the Gubinsky-Mills with black. as they prepare, refusing us to jump around, we strike, and that's what we planned to do earlier. There are many players these days who play this annoying system, but you don't need to worry about anything. Take the pawn. If they take, that's a bad variation because we gain tempo on the queen. Attack the queen. Now the queen is basically trapped, and that's what you wouldn't want to do. Okay, so lastly, let's look at this last variation, which is the queen to e5. What happens when they attack? Where they attack our king, gaining a tempo on our king. Yes, of course, block your king, cover your king. Please don't put your knight here. They'll break your pawn structure, but we can choose to attack the queen in the center. As they take, we take with our knight, using that chance to develop. Please note that they are quite behind on development, and this is why this variation is not played by many good players, because they lose much time. They lose much time in the center as they are struggling to put their settings right. Yes, they fall back. Now we have this tricky gambit as we sacrifice this pawn. Why? We always sacrifice this pawn in such systems because we really notice that they have to fall back, and they have to, when they take, sometimes you can even just feel free to first solidify your position. Why? Do you think they've taken the pawn? You always put more. They are really dismantling the queen side, and we can now enjoy these strikes. Sooner or later, that pawn will have to fall. One of the pawns will have to fall, and as you can see, there's too much that black has to defend, and they soon succumb to the pressure. Okay, that's enough for today, and I'll see you in the next video as we cover the e4 lines, and that's the brief way to destroy the Scandinavian. Thank you. Bye.